What's going on, everybody? Super Saiyan Polar back at it again. Dragon Ball Super episode 130, one of the greatest Dragon Ball Super episodes of all time, just dropped, and we're going to be talking about one of the major revelations that happened during this episode. And we expected major things to happen, but I'm not entirely sure if majority of us expected this to happen. Android 17 is still in the ring, and he's alive. Now guys, this was earlier leaked way back like a month ago, but it was from some Korean spoilers, and it wasn't necessarily the most reliable at the time, but they did specify that Android 17 was still going to be showing up in the finale of Dragon Ball Super. And what happened here is that Android 17 and Golden Frieza are alongside Goku in the final episode that's coming up. In episode 130, Goku's about to get ringed out because of Jiren's attack, because the moment Jiren saw that Goku's god power was taking a toll on him and Mastered Ultra Instinct was running out, he decided to take that opportunity to ring Goku out, and it failed because either Frieza or 17, most likely Frieza, air blasts him back onto a rock. So it was really cool to see that. I never saw Goku using instant transmission to get back on top, because instant transmission is just him moving at a ridiculously fast speed, and that would still be considered flying if he went back up. It wasn't him using any momentum. That would basically be cheating. So with those things being said, we've been expecting them to hide Frieza until the very end, and he showed up a little bit earlier than we expected. And not only that, Android 17 was much more well hidden than Frieza ever was, because we knew that Frieza had our attention more than anything, and I think that's what pulled it off of 17, which was really cool to see. However, what is he going to do that's going to change this entire dynamic here? Because what was originally expected here was that in episode 131, Goku is going to get ringed out. After Goku gets ringed out, which they didn't mention anything about 17 or Frieza yet, after Goku gets ringed out, Jiren looks up at the gods, Zeno, and then all of a sudden a death beam is supposed to hit him. So a death beam hasn't hit Jiren yet, and there was a moment where I thought Frieza had jumped in prematurely and abandoned all of the spoilers, where there was this purple aura around Goku when he was losing his powers, and the god power was turning like was taking its toll on Goku, and that's the moment when Jiren attacked. But I thought Frieza was taking his step in right there. It looked like a moment you would have seen if Frieza was to betray them, and that was what shocked me, because it was like, is this where Frieza takes the win? Is this where he rings out both Goku and Jiren? But that's not what happened. Frieza actually has that look of desperation on his face, where he's like, I have to fight alongside you guys. And even 17 made a remark towards Frieza, where he was like, we have to give this everything we've got, because with how powerful Jiren is, even in his weakened state, it's not gonna be enough. I mean, honestly, Mastered Ultra Instinct handled everything properly, and honestly, I think that Mastered Ultra Instinct tops Jiren. The only problem is that Jiren just couldn't, Goku just couldn't hold on to the form, and because of that, that's where Jiren gets that. So 17 told Frieza at the very end here, with Son Goku and the shape he's in, we're gonna have to do this ourselves. And Frieza said, you don't have to tell me that. So it was kind of some like witty banter on the sideline there, and I loved it. But Kuririn, aka Krillin, also said 17 didn't self-destruct after all, and 17 told him that it was going to be a gamble whether if he survived that attack or not, but it looks like it worked. So 17 survived his explosion from earlier on, and it's good to see that the MVP of the Tournament of Power is still in here in the finale, in the final battle. I think without a doubt Android 17 is the greatest character besides Goku and everyone else. I still say he's #1 MVP of the Tournament of Power. I think it's undisputable and undebatable at this point of 17 not being the greatest in here, because him being the underdog as well. I thought he was going to get ringed out before this tournament came out. I speculated him being ringed out a lot earlier, but he's managed to hold his own all the way to the end, and not only that, be one of the most useful characters yet. So Android 17, the MVP. Can we get some hashtag 17 MVP? But what I want to ask you guys is, what is 17 gonna bring to the table here? Because originally, without him being mentioned in any of the spoilers besides that one we got a month ago, which hinted towards it, and the thing that hinted about that was that people denied that because they never pushed 17's button. Zeno never pushed his button like he does to everybody else, so that was one of the giveaways for it. But the defense for that was that 17 and Frieza's buttons are like right next to one another, and it seemed like if it really went towards more Frieza's case, where it was like if they pushed 17's button, they would reveal that Frieza's still in the ring, so they kept the screen away from that. They didn't want to show us Frieza still lurking around. But here, before, we expected it. We expected him to be shown in 131, not episode 130. Frieza has shown his face prematurely, and it's still great to see him, and that look on his face, I can't get it out of my head. That look of desperation, it looks like Frieza's really fighting for his team, regardless of anything. He's like, I have to take this guy down, and I absolutely loved it. Like, I know a lot of people would have hated if Frieza turned into a good guy, but there's just something about it that I actually enjoy. There's something about that thing that Goku can do to his friends and characters, and especially like people like Vegeta, that turn them around, even Boo in some way, shape, or form. It's just really cool to see one of the most evil, tyrannical rulers do something good, and I absolutely love it. Honestly, I love that concept, and it will be a lot more, like, it would have so much of an impact more than anything, more than Jiren would for me, if he does get that wish, or if anything, if he gets the final attack on Jiren. Now, in episode 131, we're expecting a death beam to hit Jiren, and we're also expecting Goku to fall out of the ring yet again. It was spoiled that Goku was going to lose Mastered Ultra Instinct and fall out. We're not necessarily sure if that was supposed to happen in this episode or the next. It was mainly supposed to be for 131, but it's already happened here, and Goku's chilling on the rock. Now, with that leaked image, we know that Goku and Frieza are here side by side, and something's going to happen yet again where it's both, it seems as though it's 17 maybe taking on Jiren alone, but Goku's not going to have Mastered Ultra Instinct for episode 131, and without him having that in episode 131, Jiren's still in control of this battle, because even though he's been weakened down and Goku had the fight in the bag down to the very last second before the power ran out, Plot Armor Instinct failed him when the plot needed to fail him to go on, which is ironic, the irony of the form and everything. Can Super Saiyan Blue tier leveled Android 17, because he's the power level of Super Saiyan Blue Plus, because he's still part human, so he can still power up. That was explained before. And Frieza in his Golden State, who also could take on a Super Saiyan Blue Plus. So like everything Super Saiyan Blue and beyond, can that take on Jiren? We know like Vegeta got some hits on him and before these other guys did, but just maybe like 1 or 2 punches, if anything, total. And it still kind of might be very, very borderline on what they may be able to do to Jiren, because Goku isn't really in fighting shape, and it doesn't necessarily look like he's going to have much to offer. I don't see him getting Mastered Ultra Instinct back. I think they used up everything they could have in episode 130 with this amazing, amazing fight. Like, this is one of the greatest showdowns of all time, and I think they executed it as perfectly as they possibly could have. The only thing I ever took away from the episode was the fact that Jiren's an unfleshed out character. However, they did the most that with what they could have, trying to explain him a bit more, exactly as I predicted it, and it was just a pleasure being a fan of Dragon Ball in this moment. Really, really good, edited with the music perfectly. But what can 17 bring to the table now? Because how are they going to fight him head on without that shock factor? Frieza being the one that I expected, I thought there was going to be 30 seconds of in-show time of them having to fight with Goku and Jiren, then he's going to lose the power, and in that instance, when Goku gets ringed out, Jiren's supposed to look up at the camera and look up at Zeno, and then wonder why the tournament's not over. And similar to the way Goku was getting the powers, like when his power ran out and all of a sudden the power was taking a tear or toll on his body, there was a moment where like it was red and black. That's what I expected to happen to Jiren. Like, it was going to be red and black, and then all of a sudden you see the death beam approaching Jiren in a very slow fashion, and then all of a sudden it connects, ringing Jiren out, a weakened Jiren more than anything, because if the battle lasted that long, I would have expected Jiren to be below Super Saiyan Blue, enough for Frieza to do enough damage. But here, Frieza, and then we have 17 as well as Goku in here. They're both Super Saiyan Blue level. Do you guys think that they're going to be able to take on a weakened Jiren? With these things being said, weakened Jiren may still be able to overpower the three of them, and that's what's got us on the edge of our seats. Can these two fighters help Goku out in the shape that he's in, and will they be able to take him out of the tournament? Who's going to get the wish? Is it going to be 17? 17 had one of the most dramatic deaths ever, and it pushed most of the characters further, but here we go with it again. I don't necessarily think that they could really get anything out of 17 in terms of plot. I mean, he's the MVP. He really pushed our characters forward, but I think they've utilized him enough. I think Frieza, more than anything, needs to get something out of this, because his hype train was supposed to be built up with these spoilers, and yet again, he's still in the ring. He's been hyping everything up until the very beginning. Since the very beginning, he said he was resurrected, and he has the most impact on what's going to be happening in the final battle. So tell me if you guys want to see 17 win. Tell me if you guys want to see Frieza win. Tell me if you guys want to see Jiren win, or even Goku, because we know what two out of the four of them want to wish for. Goku and 17s are kind of predictable. Frieza's and Jiren's not so much, and that's what's got this episode looking so amazing. The finale of Dragon Ball Super as a series, really good stuff. Anyway, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'll be seeing you guys next time. Peace. #17MVP.